Hello everybody, it's Damon. Crazy Logics 007 on YouTube, Crazy Logics in the forums. Not working on the Rockford right now, getting ready to redo my whole workbench. Due to my poor, nope, not that, nope, not that. There we go. My poor old oscilloscope was just giving me so many fits while trying to record troubleshooting the output section of that Rockford and displaying some stuff on it, and I just wasn't trusting it for nothing. That's a PPI amplifier. I might want to get the American Allen wrenches out on it. It's old school. It's an A600.2. So anyway, this one somehow is missing its gain knob. It's all gone. It looks like it accidentally got ripped out or something. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. Seems like it powers up okay. It just won't play because it's all freaked out because it doesn't have any way for the audio signal to get through there. So anyway, little stock footage here, and we'll continue this. This is on a new Machete amp. It's a 1500.1 or something like that. So anyway, big, huge reason why I'm going to be clearing my whole workbench off. Sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained. I worked a ton this last week and weekend, and then I'm having to work more. We got a big project going on, and my brain's a little frazzled. But I got a new oscilloscope, and it's really nice, and so you'll get to see it in that next Rockford video. Hopefully within a day or so I'll get to recording it, because I'll clean this off one night and tidied everything up and made it all nice and pretty, and get the new scope in, and a new bench power supply. It's a low amperage, so it won't be able to do a ton of stuff, but it's awesome. Still going to be moving in a couple months, so trying to wrap things up and get to a good point. So I've got a new, bigger bench. Not new, it's one I've had, but I've had it at a different spot. That's going to be my new bench, and it's a little wider, and so I'll be able to set up some better things at the other house. So anyway, that is why you have not seen that Rockford video, because I went to go to start recording it and doing that, and my poor old scope was just giving me troubles. And so anyway, we'll throw this old stock footage. This was back from in the winter when I still had my heater on and stuff, and was recorded with my phone. And yes, it has gratuitous bald head footage in it, just a little bit. So all of you that love that, you get your fill of it here a little bit. I know you need it. And it's a good little quick repair. I've got a few videos of it. We'll keep throwing them up whenever I need some filler. They take a little longer to process because I've got to, because they came from my phone. Ooh, I did not notice that. Is that where a screw? Oh, that's where the case screw is. That needs cleaned. Whew. Looked like a big old burn spot. But anyway, I'll get the bench all set up. I'm going to take this out and figure this little thing out so I can order a part for this, which is why I've got it here real quick. On the Machete, it was given to me for some work I did, and it'll explain itself in the video. Like I said, good bald head in it, and got some troubleshooting, and neat to see. And I blab a lot. Of course, I blab a lot in all my videos. So anyway, on to the video, and I will see you in the Rockford coming up very soon. As soon as I get this mess all cleaned off, and actually have enough time to get everything set back up and get that sucker back up here, because I want to get it done and get it back to my buddy, because I have all the parts and stuff to do it. They're all setting up here. But like I said, on to the video, and thanks for watching, because I won't be in that other video because that was shot with my phone, like I said. And like and subscribe, and throw some comments down or questions. You won't be seeing this one probably at all, because I think it's just going to be this pot, and then clean it and make sure everything else is good. So as long as there's nothing else to it, this whole PPI, just get that fixed up and get it back out of here. So on to the video, and like I said, thanks for watching. All right, we have a Alphard. Okay, we have an Alphard Audio Machete 1500D. It's supposed to be a 1500 watt amp at like 1 ohm. Supposedly this was dead from the factory. It was given to me, and so I put power and ground to it, and it popped my little fuse, so I put a bigger fuse in it, and it powered up and went into protect mode and wouldn't do anything. So somebody has already popped it open, not me. And we're going to see. I did the diode test, is why I added power to it. Diodes showed the power supply should be kind of good. Well, I got that screw a little wonky. This one too. So obviously, if this one came to the whoever bought it, didn't power up. From my understanding, straight from the factory. Not sure I always 100% believe that, but only the factory tests their amps before they ship, even just a minimal little test. But somebody's apparently taken the back cover off to look in and see if it was something simple. Not a bad looking little amp. Oh, that's a little wiggly. We might add a little extra mastic to that. I don't want that thing to vibrate and break the legs. Might even put some cardboard with mastic to give it a little more oomph on there with a little goo. We got a ground wire over here. Make sure you can see that. Clips all in here, but they're tall enough that we can get our multimeter. Is the multimeter? Yeah, it doesn't really need to be in view. You were listening for the beep. Get them spun a little here. I don't know what it is about multimeter leads, but they like to get done. So should have 4 banks of power FETs here. One for this one for that one. Got 2 different banks of diodes. This is the input capacitors. This and these caps are not swollen. It's just the little plastic cap insulator they put so that when you put the cover on, they can't accidentally short these metal tops to the thing. So those are not swollen. I don't see anything else. Looking around, nothing looks bad. We ain't got no leakage that I can tell. That's just mastic on there. So it did quote unquote power up, but it went into protect. Well, there's capacitors charging. We're just going to run through. Maybe one bank of the power supply is not happy and one is. No. That head in the way. That's capacitor charging. Capacitor charging, you know when it goes up off there. That's good. We'll switch the output FETs if we can get to them. Oh, that's... And we get the little vibraty weird sound. Definitely got something going on the output section here. Yeah. So let's just assume this was dead from the factory. My first thing would be is to think that when we pull the clips out and get the board out, we're going to look at the backs of these transistors where this oh shoot, it's Capcom tape is that they're using as an insulator to make sure there's not any of those that have broke through that. There's not any damage on both sides, so that it would be shortened to the case heatsink. Then we're going to look at the back side of the board, and we're going to really study this once we get it out, when we can see it real good. Make sure there's not any solder joints or something goofy like that, or something bridging the solder connections. That would be assuming it was bad from the factory. So let's say like they just threw these things together and they really didn't test them. Maybe they did a diode test to make sure the power supply was good, and they thought that's good enough or something. But I'm thinking, make sure, yeah. But I'm thinking something else might have been wrong when whoever the customer originally was that owned this. Like I said, this one was just given to me. My honest opinion on what the story is probably one of two things. A, it truly was dead because it was going to be installed by somebody that knew what they were doing, and it just plain showed up dead. So that's why we're going to look for those solder joints from the factory. I would think the factory would have tested their amps, but maybe not. I want to say somewhere when I was first looking this up that it said it was a Korean-made amplifier, so that means it might be a Xeon made. I'm not sure. All I know is that I would think they'd test it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it could get out with a factory solder joint or something bad. So we're going to look for that. We're going to assume yes, it was bad from the factory. Maybe there's just something really simple, stupid. Otherwise, I think the owner of where this was sold from may have got credit for it, and they may have just sent it. This amp's like I think I seen it for sale, $246. So it's not super expensive. It's a get you into some booming bass, drive your stuff, have some fun, maybe try your hand at competition. Enjoy yourself kind of amp. It's not going to set any world records. If you want good bass for cruising, it's going to do that really well. It may not be the most expensive high-end amp. We'll kind of see as we look through it. It don't look terrible. For $246, like I said, I think was what I seen it sold for. That'd be a heck of a lot of an amp to push some bass and give you some boom and enjoy yourself. So, assuming they do test each amp, then maybe accidentally the person that originally installed this just didn't notice they had hooked up a wire and had it grounded on the speaker terminals, or something else. The fact that the power supply seemed to operate and it just went into protect, we'll double check the power supply. There does not appear to be a ground going in underneath, so all we need to do now is break these free. And tilt them in just a tiny bit. See if I can gently get my razor knife. Yeah, that just slides right in there. It's getting behind all those. If you've noticed in some of my videos, I'm a little stopped up. You might hear me talk about what happened. Bad allergies plus whacked myself in the nose. Left me with big old swollen nose. Couldn't breathe out of it, and the allergies and everything going on. So the beginnings of a lot of these videos where we have to order parts, and through the magic of YouTube, we can continue working on it, and you'll see it. So I may be a little crackly at the beginning of a lot of videos that you watch. Pay it no mind. Watch a few of them. You'll know that I survived. So the first thing we're going to do is look at this backside. Oh, that is interesting. There is a heat block right there. Is that an actual heat block, or is that like a power block? They've put thermal paste on it like it's a heat block, a thermal pad to the chassis, but I don't see any place where it was touching on the chassis. Those just look to be specks of dirt. I was wondering if they were a wire. I'm going to have to pause it here. Because my heater is running out of propane. Alright, propane heater is out of fuel. So if it gets cold, I'll have to plug in the little electric heater because I got to go pick up some new tanks. So, putting on the old spectacles. I'm looking. Fat head incoming. These are IRF 640Ns. Now I have a few of those left over from the Hyphonics repair, the Goliath, that are used but good kind of thing that I use for testing. I think I only got 3. So we're in diode mode here. Not the oscilloscope probe. That's showing a short. That's doing it. Okay, so it was not the case causing it. Well, let's say this. They're still reading that. We need to inspect the case. I'll do that with my little magnifier and a good light to make sure that there's not any place that was bad here. But that tells me we've got bad FETs. Whether they came from the factory bad, that kind of... If we'd have had... If I inspect it and find holes, and I'll show that on the video the best I can in the thing, and that's what killed it instantly. You could maybe see that happening at the factory, just improper assembly. But, man, I just kind of got this gut feeling that somebody may have hooked up speaker and accidentally shorted something out. And that's what killed it, and they did it on the same day they got it. And if it was an installer, they didn't want to admit it. If it was a customer, they must have been a valued customer that has done other quality stuff before. So the shop either believed that they didn't do anything wrong, or the amount of money they've spent far and exceeds what this costs the shop, and they would much rather keep their customer happy because they're a quality customer that spends good money and claim it as factory damage. Now, based on the fact that this is not a high-end super expensive amplifier, the factory probably figures they're going to have some defects, so they may have just accepted warranty claim, gave them credit, shipped them another amp, who knows, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, still got a little bit of that congestion. I'm gonna have to take some ibuprofen and stuff. So we need a little block or a little something to hold this up a little better. Just a little more altitude. That looks good. One way or another, the amp was a wash, and everybody was happy, or happy enough. So it was given to me. Said, hey man, if you can fix it, and trade it to some dude for something you need. So that is my intention, is to fix this sucker up, hopefully. And seeing if I can horse trade or sell it or whatever we can do and get a lab style power supply. So we can current limit and stop spending money on fuses. Now I buy a whole lot of fuses at once for my little setup. So, I get a bit of a bulk discount on it. But it'd sure be nice to be able to power these things up. See them pull too much current at the beginning, but stabilize out just because they want a lot of current to charge their caps up. Stuff like that. A lab power supply helps a lot. I got a decent power supply, but right now that provides 75 amps. It's a server power supply. And so I've got a 1000 watt 4 ohm resistor dead load coming in for testing. That should arrive soon, so I can start putting a heck of a lot more load than my cheap little subwoofer will do. For some endurance testing, because right now on really big amps I can't get them good and toasty when testing them. We have to test them as best I can. And install them in somebody's car that's got some real subs and kind of pour the coals to it for a good little playback. Excuse me. Like I said, had a rough week. Get my nose all healed up where I can breathe a little better. I'm not having to breathe so much through my mouth. I'll be a little less huffy and puffy and burpy. So if it bothers you, I'm sorry. Oh, well, here we go. It's just a fact of life. When you get older, you still got stuff you want to fix, things you want to do, where you got to go to work, even when you're not 100%. You don't want to go to work, with something nasty and spread it to your coworkers, but there's going to be times where you're sore or achy, or if you've got allergies, they've kicked your butt. I've got a bunch of amps right now, and so I really need to get through them all, get a diagnosis and get parts on order, and be able to do final testing and start getting some of these fixed, clean off my shelves of dead amps. I've got friends and people that would like to play their music. I don't know about you guys, but on your whatever's considered your Friday, your last day of work, it sure is nice to be able to go home and on your way home jam to some nice tunes and make you feel good. Make you happy for your weekend. Alright, we've got that all cleaned up. Kind of got our FETs all out here in a row. We're going to be doing the testing of those. But got the old multimeter